That was a ballistic missile sent by Iran, striking the center of Tel Aviv as the war between Israel and Iran intensifies. While the Middle East is engulfed in all-out war, what was Donald Trump doing yesterday? Donald Trump was holding a dictator parade for himself on his birthday, co-opting the 250th anniversary of the United States Army. Donald Trump was on stage with the former Fox weekend news host, Pete Hegseth, and the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. They promised there would be 250,000 people who were going to be there in Washington, D.C. for this dictator parade. It seemed like less than 10,000 people showed up. It was an embarrassing event. Donald Trump was sulking the entire time. And while you had that disastrous Dictator Day parade event, throughout the United States, there were massive No Kings protests in blue states, in red states, in purple states, in big cities, in medium-sized cities, in small cities, in small towns, in medium-sized towns. Over 5 million people in America at least showed up for the No Kings protests to protest Donald Trump's dictatorial actions and say no to tyrants, no to kings. The split screen between, on the one hand, all of the pro-democracy protesters protesting Donald Trump on one screen. On the other screen, Donald Trump's disastrous dictator parade where less than 10,000 people showed up. Empty seats, low energy, Donald Trump sulking. And then on another screen, war in the Middle East, Israel demanding that the United States join the war efforts officially against Iran because Israel needs these bunker-busting bombs to reach one of Iran's nuclear facilities that it can't reach on its own. Of course, you have the United States right now providing unofficial support to Israel through weapons and through other logistics in the war against Iran, although Donald Trump was out there over the past 48 hours basically taking credit for everything and trying to escalate things in the Middle East. And so while all of this was taking place, you have Trump's communication director just spreading the most ridiculous and humiliating lies for the regime. Stephen Chung, Donald Trump's communications director, posted the following at approximately 6:55 p.m. last night. He goes, "Amazing. Despite the threat of rain, over 250,000 patriots showed up to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Army. God bless the USA." We responded from the official MeidasTouch account by saying, ha 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 ha. Catch his breath. Ha 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 ha. That couldn't be further from the truth, what Stephen Chung was saying there. Don't worry, we'll show you receipts in just a moment. Stephen Chung also posted the following at 5:41 p.m. yesterday. The so-called No Kings protests have been a complete and utter failure with minuscule attendance. It is sad Democrats and liberals would rather support criminals and illegals instead of celebrating the 250th anniversary of our great U.S. Army and Flag Day. But many more Americans are commemorating our brave military men and women who have given the ultimate sacrifice and who those continue to serve our country. See, it's all projection and confession with people like Stephen Chung. The reality is the failure and minuscule attendance was at Donald Trump's dictator parade. The support of criminals and illegals is referring to Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a felon who engages in illegal conduct all the time. Trump is a sexual abuser. He is a bankrupter, and he co-opted and took over what should have just been an event for the United States Army, not through massive tanks rolling into Washington, D.C., but there could have been a right way to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Army. And I think actually it could have been a popular event if Donald Trump didn't turn it into a dictator parade and make it about himself and make it about his birthday. And then when Stephen Chung goes, but many more Americans are commemorating our brave military men and women. Let's be clear, we should commemorate our brave military men and women, but that's not what Donald Trump was doing. Trump was turning the event about his own dictatorial power, and he was doing a very bad job at it. Where people were showing up to in the millions and millions and millions, somewhere between 5 and 10 million, were the No Kings protests. So let me just take out the receipts right here, shall we? And let's just go over it together. So I want to show you this clip right here of, you'll see some of the troops marching in Washington, D.C., and you'll see the empty seats behind them, and you'll see just how low energy it is. Here, play this clip. As Doug Landry says, take a look at this poor soldier who is being forced by the Trump regime to serve as a crowd advance guy with the small group of people who actually ended up showing up to this Trump dictator parade. Here, play this clip.
The right by trial by jury shall be preserved, and no fact tried by a jury shall be otherwise re-examined in any court of the United States, according to the rules of the common law.
Out there on Constitution.
Amendment 8.
Support for today's episode comes from Square, your all-in-one business partner that makes your day-to-day a whole lot easier. From point-of-sale systems and payments to inventory and customer tools, Square keeps everything in one simple platform so you could stay organized, sell anywhere, and keep things moving. Whether you're running a cafe, salon, boutique, or something entirely on your own, Square gives you the flexibility to grow at your own pace and even set up an online store in just a few clicks. And right now, listeners can get up to $200 off Square hardware when you sign up at square.com/go/Meidas. That's SQUARE.com/go/MEIDAS. Visit Square to get started because the right tools make all the difference. There's a local bakery I love in LA, super small team, but they run like a well-oiled machine thanks to Square. Payment is seamless, receipts come straight to my phone, and the whole thing just feels personal and easy, and I always love how easy it is to pay. Whether someone wants to use a credit card or contactless option like Apple Pay or Google Pay, you can tell Square lets the bakery focus on what really matters, making great food and connecting with customers. Frankly, what are you even thinking if you don't use Square in your business? Plus, Square gives you the tools to manage behind the scenes work too, like tracking sales and staying on top of inventory. Square keeps up so you don't have to slow down. Get everything you need to run and grow your business without any long-term commitments. And right now you can get up to $200 off Square hardware at square.com/go/Meidas. That's SQUARE.com/GO/MEIDAS. Run your business smarter with Square. Get started today.
One of the interesting things was a speech that was given by J.D. Vance at this disastrous dictator parade for Donald Trump, where Vance says, "We never ask you to go to war unless you absolutely have to." Here, play this clip.
And so to our soldiers, we're so proud of you, and let me tell you that the way that we honor and respect you is, number one, we never ask you to go to war unless you absolutely have to, and number two, when we do ask you to go to war, we give you the weapons and the support needed to kick the hell out of the enemy and come back home safely.
And notably, J.D. Vance was saying that at the same time, Israel officially requested the United States to join its ongoing war against Iran, particularly targeting the underground nuclear facilities such as the Fordo fuel enrichment plant, which the Israeli Air Force does not have the means to effectively strike without the United States bunker-busting bomb. So it seems like Donald Trump is indeed dragging the United States and our troops into another Middle East war. When didn't Donald Trump say that he had the secret that he was going to keep America out of World War War III. No, you were bringing America into World War III. You also promised that you were going to end the war in Ukraine in 24 hours. But one of your main posts yesterday was bragging about Vladimir Putin giving you a call. Yes, Donald Trump posted yesterday, President Putin called this morning to very nicely wish me a happy birthday, but to more importantly talk about Iran, a country he knows very well. We talked at length. Much less time was spent talking about Russia, Ukraine, but that will be for next week. He is doing the planned prisoner swaps. Large numbers of prisoners are being exchanged immediately from both sides. The call lasted approximately 1 hour. He feels, as do I, this war in Israel, Iran should end, to which I explained his war should also end. So Donald Trump getting advice about what the United States should be doing in Iran from Vladimir Putin. And then shortly thereafter, you can't make this stuff up, the Department of Defense posted a Happy Flag Day image. And on the Happy Flag Day image, look at that flag right there under Flag Day. Does that look familiar to you? Because that ain't the U.S. flag right there. That's the flag of Russia that the Department of Defense posted right there. How utterly embarrassing. You take a look right here, another photo of the empty stands for Trump's military birthday parade. All right, now let's contrast that to what's going on with the No Kings protests. And we could evaluate if what Stephen Chung was saying is truthful or not truthful. Let's just pick a random city, a great city, but let's just pick anyone at random. Let's pick Boise, Idaho, showing up for No Kings. Take a look right there. How about Chicago? How about San Diego? How about Los Angeles? How about in New York? As I said it from the outset, big cities, small cities, medium-sized cities, big towns, small towns, red states, blue states, purple states, people showed up. In contrast, people did not show up to Donald Trump's dictator parade. Look at Secretary of State Marco Rubio just sitting there, bored out of his mind, looking miserable as war rages in the Middle East. Take a look at this video. Let's play it. Here's another photo coming from Trump's birthday parade. You can see from this angle as well, no one showed up. Just compare and contrast that photo to even just say Boise, Idaho. Far more people showed up in Boise, Idaho than showed up for Donald Trump's dictator parade. Yesterday was also a very tragic day, though. There was the assassination of a House, of a state representative in Minnesota, and an assassination attempt on the life of a state senator in Minnesota. You had all of the right wing out there trying to spread these dastardly and despicable rumors that the assassin, who we learned to be someone by the name of Vance Bolter, they were trying to act like this guy was a Democrat and he was close with Governor Tim Walz of Minnesota. They spread that disinformation. Elon Musk amplified it. I mean, the New York Post spread that information. But when you read the New York Post article, one of the first hints that this guy was actually not a Democrat is if you went to about paragraph 30, it says, despite serving under Dems, Bolter last registered to vote in 2022 as a Republican. The only reason he served under Dems is because he was selected in a prior administration and his service rolled over into the Democratic administration. But this was a registered Republican who had a list of Democrats and pro-choice people who, and the reason that he had information about No Kings is he was going after Democrats and pro-democracy people. This was a right-wing extremist nutcase whose views were similar to a Timothy McVeigh. He was an extremist, radicalized, anti-abortion, anti-LGBT, pro-homeschooling, type of, extremist right-wing person. And then we got the local news who tracked it down, and it was clear that the Minnesota assassin was a big Donald Trump supporter after they spread all of these lies. Here's what they talked about on the local news. Play this clip.
We even asked about Mr. Bolter's political affiliations, and David Carlson, once again his roommate and best friend, known him since fourth grade, did say Bolter voted for Trump and that he was a strong supporter.
As we wrote on the MeidasTouch account, remember this moment, everybody. Remember all the people who lied in the morning to try to spread false narratives that the assassin was a Democrat, that there was a Democratic assassin going after all the Democrats out there. Elon Musk amplified that. And as we say on the MeidasTouch account, these are bad actors. These are horrible human beings. Never trust them again. And it's people like Stephen Chung and others constantly lie. It's one of the things that's so important about independent media, what we're building here at the MeidasTouch network, and what we're encouraging others to build, this vibrant independent media ecosystem to get out the truth. Here's a photo of me and my wife and our 8-month-old daughter. I love the sign that we made for her. I love naps, but I stay woke. There was my sign, due process for all. My wife's sign, liberty and justice for all. We attended the Pasadena No Kings protests. It was an incredible event to be at with the family. I saw so many Meidas Mighty out there. I saw so many people with Meidas Mighty signs at the No Kings protests across the United States. It was so cool to see all of that and to also see the impact that this network is having on everybody, bringing out the truth, getting out accurate information, and ensuring that all of this disinformation that's spread by bad actors on the right, but then that's amplified by corporate news and state regime media, that we build the infrastructure to combat that together. There's a lot going on in the world right now. We need competent, intelligent leadership, smart leadership, and that sure as hell ain't happening with the lying, incompetent, dictatorial, kakistocracy Trump regime. We'll keep getting you the accurate information here. Thanks for watching. We're very close to 5 million subscribers. Help us get there. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 5 million together.
New Meidas merch drop! Check out the latest pro-democracy sticker packs, t-shirts, hats, sweatshirts, and more. All at store.meidastouch.com.